wanna find a better way, I wanna say that you got it. Dig inside of your pocket and take out your wallet. Figure all of your power. I'm talking black dollars mixed with a little knowledge. Yeah, but we gon' cause problems. Sit back, let the melody settle in. Think out the door, we be pedaling. Put that money right back into the community instead of trying to get you a better bitch. Yeah, we can't start dropping it when it's out there. Yeah. I'm God body, you head of the God that you can feel it when I walk in.
I used to go there for you, my ways. Can't trust no one, no way. Pull up so low, no, won't stop. That's just the way a real one ride. Nigga, you know, I used to be down on the floor, down on the ride like the snow. Me and my bro, jugging and breaking the code. Selling that green with a little bit of seeds, got you ready to go. Gotta do it different than before. Nigga, get a richer vision every O. Trying to get a yeah from nobody, niggas on some made shit. Trapping like you crazy, chasing dollars all night. Niggas pushing on the day shit, on the 9 to 5. Really scratching to the pay, put it all on the line. Doing it for you, man. Motherfucker, take it, got to know you got it. You got it. If you really want it, you got it. You got it. You let a motherfucker take it, got to know. No, I'm not bragging, no laughing. I'm letting you feel this, that happened. Don't mean I'm happy and rapping, but I mean I was happy, I was thankful. I'm used to scrapping, I wanted no action, I needed no money. Church folks said that I wouldn't be nothing, but I showed something from all wrong. Gotta rock a life like a golf stone. Living my dreams, taking trips overseas, but they all home. My shit turned up, that shit went all wrong. I said, God got it, I got it right, but I'ma kick into this shit. Trapping like you crazy, chasing dollars all night. Niggas pushing on the day shit, on the 9 to 5. Really scratching to the hay, put it all on the line. Doing it for you, man. Motherfucker, take it, got to know you got it. You got it. If you really want it, you got it. You got it. You let a motherfucker take it, got to know. You got it. You got it.
Hello. What's up, world? What's up, world? What's up, world? This is Alonzo Hall, your fiduciary fam, aka the Allstar Advisor. And I'm here today with another round of table talk. Now, I got some responses last time I went up here talking about table talk because it was some hot topic things, and some people, I guess, felt that I was triggered about some stuff. And yes, I was triggered about some stuff because as a black man in America, there's certain views that we get. Now, I also understand sometimes you have to strategically pick your battles. And as a person as my stature, you know, you can't just go wantonly swinging. That's why we have the Pookies and Ray Rays. See, the Pookies and Ray Rays are not to be destroyed. The Pookies and Ray Rays are there to be used strategically because they are the warriors. Those are the ones who are willing to pick up arms and get their hands dirty. See, I got Pookies and Ray Rays that I know that are in my family that if somebody gets across with me, nah, Alonzo, don't you go out there and do that. I'm going to get my hands dirty. See, I don't have to do those type of things because the people in my circle understand the importance of my role. When you're playing chess, each piece has its own very important strategy and its very important movement. So anyway, today what I want to do is I want to bring up a very, very special guest. And this guest actually was the first person who interviewed me when in this YouTube space about my experience as to why I got into the insurance and financial services world and why I believe heavily in things such as self-employment. And one of those huge things is my getting shot 5 times. Let me go ahead and say what's up to some of the people in the world. We got Laro, bam. We got Sheed in the building, bam. We got Renzo in the building, bam. What's up, gentlemen? Salute. I'd like to see y'all up in here early morning. we're going to start doing a lot more of these, and we're going to start having these conversations, things like holding ourselves accountable, because the idea is to be the apex best version of yourself. Why? Because I and people that I tend to affiliate myself with happen to be supremacists. Now, let me explain to you what a supremacist is. A supremacist wants his opponent or his opposition at their apex best, or with an advantage against him. So when he dominates, he can show his true superiority. So that's what we're talking about now. Now, with my special guest, Chronicle Mac, he interviewed me about my time in getting shot and what happened. Now, there's a song by a famous rapper called Uncle M. And he says, guys get shot every day, B. You'll be all right. You're tough, right? And it's a sad thing that in the African-American community, this is a common and shared experience. Now, unfortunately, this hardworking, loving husband who is a father experienced that. So I'm going to go ahead without further ado and bring up my close friend, Chronicle Mac, and let him speak a little bit. How you doing today, Mac?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So I wanted to bring you up here because I know a while back we were doing a little sip and speak, and we had a little bit of fun with a few other people in regards to things like the Black Manosphere, which I didn't really get to explain it that well to you. You're not very familiar with it, but outside of a lot of Black men in the Black Manosphere, we really don't have an idea of what this space is. And a lot of people view it as a bunch of crying dudes who can't get any this, that, and the third, as opposed to possibly men who are trying to do things or better themselves. Now, myself in this space, I came in here initially and I was like, look, y'all need to correct yourself. I've had some conversations with them, and now we're on, certain levels of playing field. I agree with some stuff. I disagree with some stuff. One of the things I always say is if you come in here and get your finances right, then you don't have the reason to cry about women. But it's not that they're crying about women 100%, but that's what it looks like. So besides that, you recently got married. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you recently got shot. Not congratulations. So I want to talk about those experiences with you, if you don't mind. Now, which one would you like to? Well, I want to save the marriage for last because that's the happy stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
the outcome that we're looking for. And a lot of men go to these spaces because that's the outcome they want. So can you tell us, before we get into the marriage and everything, just a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, your upbringing, stuff like that?
All right. So you can call me Chronicle Mac. My upbringing was I was raised down south by my grandmother, and my aunt. I was not a good kid. I wasn't a bad kid. I was the in between. I did a lot of bad with a lot of good people, if that makes sense, right? But let's push that, let's forward that a little bit. So my adult life, I've always worked. I've been working since I actually was a teen. I started working on farms, baling hay, working in plants. You did. Moved to New York, started working in a warehouse, worked in Queens, Long Island City. It's how I spent most of my life, right? I hung with the street fellas. I did the street thing because I thought that was cool. I was brought up in a very sheltered life, so when I got a chance to get out and experience a lot of stuff, that's what I did. That's what a lot of kids do. Once you get a chance to actually taste that freedom, you go out and you run with it. So let's push forward. First of all, for anybody, y'all don't know me, I'm 34 years old, right? Probably don't look it. Cool. God is good, right?
We'll get to be here one day.
Last month, as I was getting off work, I met up with a friend of mine. Just a normal day, right? Talking to this friend. Some kids I want to call them kids. I don't know. I didn't actually see it, but Two people on a motor scooter, moped, whatever you want to call it, did a drive-by. I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Guy hit, I think 3 to 4 times. You could say I got grazed twice, bullet went in and out, and I got a bullet. I still got one bullet left in me. All of this is 2 weeks before I was supposed to get married. Crazy, right?
Can I stop you right there? Quick shameless plug. Situations like this are things that we aren't expecting. And those are things that I get the question from a lot of gentlemen. Well, I don't have a wife or kids. Why should I get life insurance? Well, this man was on the way to completing that wife and kids. And having life insurance is something that probably not thinking about, but God forbid, especially when you're hitting the thighs, that's actually one of the worst places because it can hit carotid arteries and certain veins, and you can actually bleed out and die. God forbid that happen. Was there a plan in place to leave something for your wife and kids?
Absolutely not. Not at that time.
Okay.
You know, and you know, because I work with you, you know, which is one of the good things. It's like when you have somebody that actually do, you know, before incidents like this happen, that, you know, they try to work you along so you can have something of substance to leave your people, or even just for yourself. At a time, I wasn't able. I wasn't able to actually do it. We went through my financials, and we was coming upon that. So none of this actually. I wasn't thinking about getting shot. No, I don't think anybody ever think about getting shot. You know, it happened. You know, and it's sad because it happened to a person that really have. I'm not in the streets. I have nothing to do with the streets. I've removed myself from the streets. I moved myself out of New York. You know, I just come back to New York to work. You know, and that's a scary thing because, you know, you come back and then I don't, I'm not going to put the hospital out there, but in this hospital, I was left bleeding for almost 24 hours on a hospital bed, on a gurney, with nobody tending to my wounds or anything. And the only thing I could think about was my son. Like I love my wife, but you know, only thing I could really think about was my son. Cause I'm like, wow, I'm here. I'm going to die. I'm bleeding out, and I wish I could show the pictures of how the bed was. My bed, like Alonzo said, I got shot in both my thighs, not just one. You know, so the whole gurney, all the bed sheets were just filled with blood. So from 6:30 that Monday night to 7 o'clock, from 7 to 7:30, 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, I was laying in my own blood. No bandages, no dressing the wounds, none of that. I didn't eat since lunch Monday afternoon until probably 8 o'clock Tuesday night. So I had no food in my system, bleeding out. Period. Supposed to go into surgery. That never happened. It you know, people talk about tough. I'm one of the quickest ones to tell you, like, yeah, I'm tough. I really am tough. Right. In a situation like that, you realize you ain't that tough. When you can't do for yourself, everything is like, oh man, like I'm a victim and I don't play the victim. But in that situation, I'm a victim that's being treated like a criminal. You know, if God forbid something happened to me, my wife and kid wouldn't have nothing. Period. Point blank.
Now,
Nothing.
as it goes, like you said, we've sat down together in the past working on that plan for you. And I'm actually glad that you were willing to share that. I wasn't going to share that. We, have worked together. But yes, we have worked together. And part of that plan is just looking out for things like that you may not expect to happen. So now really quickly, because I do want to delve into, especially coming from the walks of life we've come from. There's a lot of young gentlemen who I speak to about my experience of actually being penetrated by a bullet versus, oh, I've been in situations where I've heard the bullets whiz by. And can you talk to the difference of being shot at, which is a scary experience in itself, which a lot of us have been through, especially I have a lot of followers who are in the military. So they've been in war situations. Okay. Now, we also know that very similar to things like Chirac, inner city neighborhoods are war zones. Because even though those regular civilians who live in that war zone may think, man, this is crazy, this is nonsense, these kids are out here going crazy, they're actually participating in a war. And a lot of that is the fault of us men, because we're not out there mentoring, right? We're not out there looking after 1 or 10 young men saying, hey, listen, let's play football. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that we don't have a ton of money. We got to go manage and take care of our own family. We've got our own things to take care of, right? I'll give you an example. You remember when I used to live over by Broadway Junction? Well, I used to walk my clothes to the laundromat. I remember one day I'm walking my clothes to the laundromat. You know, there's a lot of homeless shelters in that area. A young lady walks up to me and goes, excuse me, mister, look, I'm scared. There's this guy following me. I don't know where he is. Can you walk me back to the shelter? Now, in terms of covering and protection of the Black woman, well, I was like, okay, most women are going to run to men for protection, white, Black, or purple. If you're in the store and some guy starts beating on the lady, she's going to look to the first guy she sees and say, help.
Yeah.
So I understood that. But in terms of protection, if I were to go protect that woman, I'm married to your sister. So I go protect that woman and I go die. Now that leaves your sister unprotected. Now, that's stupid of me. Now, what I did do was I said, okay, here's what we're going to do, miss. You're going to walk with me to the laundromat, because if this dude is following you and he sees you now walking with a dude, we're walking into this public space called the laundromat. So now he's going to back off. Now, what I did was when I dropped my stuff at the laundromat, you know where the laundromat is in proximity to my house. So I walked back towards my house. And happens to be that if you just take a right instead of a left, you're walking towards the shelter. Now, I've already started by dropping my clothes off. I'm making sure that my wife is still protected, because I'm going to make sure not to do nothing that takes me away from her and protecting her, unless it's protecting her. That's the only thing I'm going to let take me away from protecting her. But I then moved on. And the girl made it home safe. But what I want you to speak to, like I said, is the actual getting hit and how that is versus the bullet whiz by.
So I've been in both situations. Well, yeah, I've been in both situations. I've been in the situations where I've had bullets sit in front of me, whiz by me, and this was in my younger years when I was out there, when this was to be expected for the stuff that I was doing and the people I was around, right? And it's crazy. It's always when you don't expect it when the things happen, you know. When you're out there in the streets, you're looking for. I always said I wouldn't make it to 24, right? Because things I was doing, I might have had a full-time job, but I was still doing dumb, just dumb stuff. And when I made it to 24, I said, oh, I'm not going to make it to 32, right? Because I was still out there and I still had the mindset of I'm gonna do what I gotta do and blase, right? So I'm 34. Not don't I have a care in the world. I'm not gonna say I don't have a care. I have a care in the world. I have a family that, you know what I mean? I'm out there working. So I'm not looking for the problem, if that makes sense. I'm just going about my day. I go to work, I go home. Go to work, I go home. I go to work, I go home. I don't want to get into premonition or superstition and stuff like that, but that day just wasn't a good day for me, and I knew it wasn't a good day for me, and I deviated off my route from just leaving work and going straight home. You know, the difference between getting shot at and being shot, at least you get shot at, you know where it's coming from, especially when you're in the street. Getting shot when you have nothing to do and you don't see it coming is a different thing. A person that has beef knows the person that's normally shooting at them. A person that has no beef out here, that has no issue in the street, it's a scary thing because then now you're looking at everybody as a person that could have potentially ended your life. You know, that's the one thing I'm taking away from this because I don't know who did it. You know, like I said, I have no beef, and it's the wrong place, victim of circumstance. You could say that. Wrong place, wrong time. You know, uh, getting shot is not the hard part. I will say that. I took him like a champ. Like it felt like somebody threw a. I'm be real with you. It felt like somebody threw a rock at one leg, at one thigh. Boom. Right. Okay. Whatever. Threw another rock at it. All right. Okay. Whatever. The last one kind of hit me like a sledgehammer. Boom. Oh right. I hate to say it like that. Like, oh, okay. Boom. I fall down in between my car. I fall down between my car and another car, right? Just boom. I tried to get up. I didn't know I was hit until a person was looking, seeing all the blood coming out, and like, oh,
hold on one
what?
second. Now we trade more stories, right? Because I when I got hit, I felt the sledgehammer. I was like, what happened? Like I didn't know I was shot, but it felt like a sledgehammer. But here's what's funny, because I'm gonna bring a couple other son. The circles we hung in when we growing up, this is a common story. So real quick, one thing that I've noticed is a lot of men, when they get hit, say, "I didn't even feel it."
Like,
Go ahead.
I did. Honestly, I've been in this situation. It's funny. I feel like 50. I've been in this situation before. Grandma crib, dudes outside of her door. You're right.
Exactly.
For real. Like, cause I see the ground kick. This is the younger me. This was a normal thing. I see the ricochet. Boom, boom, boom. Right. The ground kick up and everything. The first two felt like somebody just threw a rock at me. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be real with you. It just felt like maybe a tire blew out, and you got hit. Boom. All right, whatever. The last one, the impact of the last one that hit me was like somebody took a sledgehammer and just hit me and knocked me, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, and it still didn't register that I was sick. I tried to get up. I tried to get up. Somebody was, hey, you're hit. Stay down. When somebody tell you that, I got adrenalized. I try to get up even quicker than like I got adrenaline. I got angry. I'm like, what? I'm trying to get up, and then people coming, they holding me down and whatnot, and I'm pushing them off. I'm pushing them off, like me. I'm trying to get up.
Somebody about to get up.
Like yo, and that's funny. What am I going to do? I'm all adrenalized now, but I'm already shot. Like, what am I going to do?
That's
I'm making it worse because now I'm moving and everything, and I'm leaking out even more. Like, I'm like, people have the worst thing to say about 12, the pigs, the Jake, the police. I'll give the officer, and the sad part about it is when I got hit, the police was literally 20 feet away from me. If I'm on this block right here, they're literally like right across. I'm looking and we're looking at each other. I'm walking behind my car and they're pointed towards the back of my car. You feel me? It's like we're looking. So all this happened in front of them. I get hit. I go down. All I know is I hear the siren go off and they take off. Like, oh.
And it's like they shooting.
Right?
We out.
Right. And I'm like, I don't want to put nothing out in the air, but I'm like, why did I get hit? Like they right there. like really? Like, but when it all happened, it was a rookie cop, right? It was a rookie cop with him. Cool guy, because he got on the ambulance with me, came with me, right? So when they came, right, he told his I guess
Hold on. Husbands unite. Look at that ring right there, bro. Look at that.
oh
Wow.
hold on, because it's kind of big. She,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Husbands
yeah.
unite.
I mean,
So you're sitting there being that husband, and listen, fellas, it ain't nothing wrong with showing off your ring. It's like a
nah,
wonderful power.
it
You
is,
know what I mean?
man.
Let me tell y'all something else. Y'all fellas don't know, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and all the married fellas know this. This ring is
Comes with
a
a lot of
women
problems.
attractant. You think you get girls now? Wait till
Oh
next
yeah,
week when you're walking out there and you got that ring. Young girls, old women, all of them holler at you. Hard body when
quick
you got a ring on.
quick
Because they
story,
know you're not afraid of commitment.
real quick.
Mhm.
My son's birthday was, Saturday, so we went to amusement park on Friday. So I'm getting on a ride with him. This young lady came up to me. She was like, "Is that a promise ring?" Right? I said, "What make you think it's a promise ring?" She's like, "Because you're too young to get you look like you're too young to be married." I said, "What?" like it's ever since I put this on, it's different. Like it really is like
It's
it,
an attractant.
it's like on that Friday movie. It's like, when I got this, my my way from here to here, like yes, like,
Dude, did I tell you? I told you. I
like
was like,
yo,
wait till you put on that ring.
yeah,
You think the
yeah,
girls
right,
are on you now? You
yeah,
put on
right.
that ring, they gonna be like,
And they don't even care if you walk. They don't even care if you're walking with them.
You
You
could
can
be
walk hand in,
walking with your
like
wife. Women are way more aggressive than men.
for real. You walk with your wife
Back
and your kid, and it's like they they locked on. But back to the
to the
me
shot.
getting shot, right? So as I'm trying to get up, I guess the rookie. This is what the rookie told me
Mhm.
at the hospital. He was like, "I saw you go down, but my partner saw the dudes that shot you, and he took off. And when I told him that, oh, we have a person down, he came back. All I know is as I'm trying to get up, this big Polish bald-headed cop, one hand pushed me down to the ground. Like I ain't never felt so weak in my life, right? Because I'm pushing everybody else off of me, right? This guy just coming, just and hold me down, and I can't move just off his one hand. I'm like,
Mhm.
put the tourniquet on me, super duper tight, right?
Keep it from
Call
bleeding
call the ambulance. They put me in the ambulance. The rookie cop come with me, right? So they're dressing one leg in the ambulance. I guess the EMTs or EMS, whatever you call them, the personnel in the ambulance. They dressing my wounds right there, right before we get to the hospital,
out. Mhm.
and they're only dressing one leg. So as I'm in there, I'm like, okay, I see y'all doing this, but what about my other leg? And they look, your other leg. Then they turned me over on my side, and like, oh, he got shot, and started cutting that pants. Like, oh, I'm not even gonna lie. What you would think would be the most embarrassing thing is when you get shot, they cut your clothes off, right? And then where I got shot, they had to cut my pants and and my boxers off. And you would think you would be embarrassed to me. Man, I was free balling like like I said, the adrenaline pumping. I'm tight right now. I'm like in my head, I'm like, why? Why didn't I just go home? like like it, people talk about New York. I I'm gonna say this. If you live in the Bronx, I'm not gonna say I don't like you. I just don't like the Bronx. I don't. And now I have even more reason not to like the Bronx. Right. And my brother told me this. He was like, yo, and it's sad because you never want to be a statistic, right? It's like you're one in 700 people that got shot last month.
Mm.
In a week, I was one in 112.
Mm. Now let me ask
Like,
you this. I wanna spread this kind of back to what it is that I do. So last month, you were 1 in 700 who got shot. Now, from the aspect of you having worked with me and knowing the life that we come from, and knowing the likelihood that of those 700, that look like you and I, probably half of them. So let's say 350. So let's say you were one in 350 people who got shot that look like you and I and likely come from similar walks, and we're probably in those neighborhoods in the Bronx or Brownsville, etc. How many of them do you think even sat down with a financial professional such as myself?
Let's break it down even more. Out of 13 people that got shot the same day I got shot, I'm the only one that survived.
Out of 13 people that got shot
The same day
you got shot, you're the only one who lived.
I'm the only one.
So 12 other people died. So had they done like you did, sat with me, and understandably so, circumstances happen where you don't complete setting up your family protection plan. It happens. I'm not covered myself. I'll talk to y'all about that in another video, because there's reasons that you can get declined, and especially from people from walks of life like us, there's a lot of things that block our pathway to success or even building generational wealth. But so of those, okay. So in my field, we have the law of averages. For every 100 people that I speak to about insurance, I can set maybe 10 appointments. Of those 10 appointments, 3 will show up. Of those 3 people that show up, 1 person will actually follow through with a family plan.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How many of them actually tell you every detail of their financial history?
Oh, very little.
See,
which makes it more difficult for me to actually come up with a plan for you. It's like going to a gym or going to the car dealer and saying, hey, my car is doing this. I'm not going to tell you that I was off-roading and this, that, and the third, and that I want to continue to off-road. I'm going to just let you fix it like I'm doing day-to-day street driving. And then when it messes up, when I take it mudding, I'm going to have a complaint with what you did, even though I didn't tell you the entirety of what needs to be done.
And see, when we went over mines, I had no problem telling you, like, listen, my car insurance, I pay more for my car insurance than I actually pay for my car. And that's real. That is real. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like why? Like, this is what I understand. People ask for help, but don't want to disclose information that can actually help them. Like, I can understand some people don't want to give out certain information about themselves for the fear of somebody using it against them, but you can't you can't ask for help and then not want to give up the information that can help you, and that can help, if you do have a wife and kids, or even if you don't have a wife, you got just a kid, or even if you don't have that yourself. Like, I wish I had I wish, and I did. Let me not. My mother had life insurance on me when I was in the streets, because she always thought something was going to happen to me. I felt some type of way about it. I did. Like, right now I see, like, yeah, okay, something happened to me back then. At least you'll have the money to cover the expenses of, God forbid, you having to bury your child. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about it until and that's sad. You really don't think about things until it's too late.
Can I speak to you about one more thing?
Go ahead.
This is very important. So right now, as you explained to me, you're kind of pissed because you're out of work. You haven't been able to go back to work for the last month, correct? Yeah. Which is also hindering you from doing your man shit and taking care of your wife and kids, not to impress anybody, but to do it for yourself. Because as men, there is this thing we have called egos. And part of us stroking our own ego is being able to say, I pay all the bills. This is my shit. What you bring to the table, yeah, woman, you are the table, but I'm the house that you sit the table in. Right? So now, going forward, knowing that you sat with me, you weren't able to put a family plan into place. Now, knowing that you're out of work, had we put a family plan in place with a simple life insurance policy, there's something called living benefits so that right now you could be receiving an income from your life insurance policy while you've gone through this disability, as opposed to being in the situation that you're currently in?
Like I said, you don't think about it until you're in the situation or until it's too late. I mean, would I do things different? Yeah, I would have did this years ago. I would have even before we even talked about it. When we did talk about it,
Facts.
like, but hindsight is 2020, like they say.
That it is.
But the one thing I can do is express how important it is now. And it's sad because I talked to you about it. I said, "Dang, you got shot. You went into you went into this field. I got shot. I might as well follow you."
You might as well, brother.
Like, but I'm not because I got my own thing. But as far as leaving something of substance for your family, you should. It's never too late until it's too late.
Big fact.
I'm here. I'm still alive, but I'm in pain. And I'll talk to you about it. And you the first one that told me, and this is why I say you jinxed me, right? Before I even left the hospital, Alonzo told me, he's like, yo, when you hear firecrackers or whatever little pops, you're gonna be, you're gonna have anxiety and all this other stuff. And then when it rains or snow cold, you're gonna be in pain. So when I left the hospital, I seen some guys on a scooter, right? So and I'm in the Bronx, still in the Bronx, right? And I'm looking everywhere. My eyes is zooming everywhere. Like then I hear the fans pop, boom, my heart just jumps out of my chest. Boom, 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 boom. Now I'm having an anxiety attack. My brother is driving my father. It's funny. I haven't spoken to my father since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely speak to my mother. Their child gets shot. They're right there. Father came from 700 miles away. Mother came from Queens. But the anxiety attacks I had after that, just going through the Bronx. Then in pain, I wake up 2:30 in the morning, probably be up for about 3-4 hours in pain, in the most harsh pain ever. So they give you the Percocets and the ibuprofen. It don't work, right? It don't work. It really don't. If I could take anything away from this, it'd be it's always be aware, observe, but some things you can't avoid. It's a reason. I hate to say that I should have went home, but it's a reason why I got shot. I mean, um, I'm grateful. I'm thankful that it's not worse. I'm not trying to be vulgar, but if I had got shot in my balls, hey, bro, like, you might as well just wrap it up because, yeah. But even being, I don't know. I've never been shot. That's the first time being shot. You got shot. What, upper body?
Upper body in the head, yeah. So it was my shoulder, elbow, through the back, grazed my head, clipped my right ear.
So see, I don't know how that feel. I don't know how none of that feel. All I know is the bullet that went, in and out. Even though it didn't hit my arteries, it didn't hit no vein. It made my whole foot go dead. No feeling, lost of sensation. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I can put my foot on the floor, and only thing I could feel is the temperature of the floor. I can't feel the floor.
Oh wow!
Right. And now that I guess because it's nerve damage.
Mm-hmm.
So now that it is recovering, I could bend my toes back. I couldn't move my toes forward. Right.
Did they prescribe a drug called gabapentin?
No.
For the nerve damage.
Like first of all, let me explain this. Like, I hope nobody have to go through what we went through. or what any
Yeah,
of the vet or what any of the vets go through, you
yeah.
know, because and I hope you don't have to deal with a hospital that don't care about you. Because I had a nurse in the hospital that she was from Florida, right? She's not even from New York. She's
Hmm.
like, she came up here because they needed help in the hospital. She said this is the worst hospital I've ever seen.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm not, you know, for legal purposes, I'm not going to put their name out.
Right.
But, you know, but it's an eye opener. It's really, and if you're from New York, you know your worst hospital. I know I could tell you the worst hospitals in Queens. I could tell you the worst hospital in Brooklyn.
Mm.
Know what I mean, now I've seen the worst hospital in the Bronx.
That's probably the worst hospital in New York City.
No, I could.
Well,
No.
I know some bad hospitals. Some of them are in Brooklyn, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we both know. We
yeah,
both know the one in Brooklyn, like
yeah.
you know.
Hey, there's a
But
couple of them.
like,
They
I would
compete with
rather,
the worst
you
hospitals
know,
in
if I could, I would rather them take me to, and I'll mention this hospital. I would rather them take me to Jamaica Hospital in Queens because that's the hospital they take the cops to when the cops get shot.
America. Yeah.
You understand? Like, but to go through something like that and to actually be the victim,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? To be the victim and treat it like a criminal, is hard. It really is hard because you don't deprive a person of food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You deprive me of getting the medical attention I needed right then and there. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. And the medicine I got, like I said, I got IB. What they gave me Tylenol. I don't take the Tylenol at all, but they
It's
give me
time
IB.
to do
Yeah,
it.
ibuprofen. and this is the ibuprofen they gave me. They gave me 400 milligrams ibuprofen. Like, what is 400 milligrams going to do? So
Yeah, you
you
need
trying to
at
you
least.
try you trying to say I gotta take 4 pills to even try to feel better,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the oxy, I gotta mix. First of all, I'm not a pill popper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like pills at all. So for me to have to take this, and this is the pain that I'm in, where I get up in the middle of the night and I have to take a handful of pills
Mm.
because I'm in so much pain. Like even the pain that even the leg that the bullet's in, my thigh that the bullet's in, doesn't give me the pain that my foot give me.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like I got grays. I got grays on both legs. So 1, 2, in and out in one. That's 3. Bullet
Four.
in other. That's 4. I mean, what did I do to deserve this? I don't know, but somehow this is karma. And that's how I'm gonna look at it. What goes around comes around. And I did something, and this is just this way making it bad. And it's like, no, we're not gonna take you out. We're just gonna show you, or I'm just gonna show you. You know what I mean? This is what you're here to do something different and have a bigger purpose. So you took me out of work, right? And that's the one thing that that that's one thing right there. I'm out of work, and you know me. I've talked to you while I was on the job.
Right.
I'm a mover. I get it going. I like working. I don't like sitting still. Sitting still to me is like it's like being in jail. I don't care if I start at 7 in the morning and I'm ending at 9 at night. I enjoy working. I enjoy keeping it going.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of enjoying the time with my family. Like I do actually. I've been doing it for so long. That's a part of my life. So right now I'm at a standstill. So they have this thing called OVS that they sent me in the mail. New York State Office of Victim Services. And I really hate saying that because I really don't want to feel like a victim, even though I am a victim of a crime and of an assault. Well, not even an assault, of a battery,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't want to be considered a victim,
You
but
don't have the
not,
victim mentality.
you know what I mean? And I
Right.
can't. It stopped me from working. I'm lucky that the best part about all this is I had enough energy and I willed myself to be able to get married because that was about to get canceled. The
Beautiful
worst,
wedding, by the way.
thank you. Like, I really appreciate that. Thank you. You know,
And hold up, he took my advice about getting married in Nevada because in Nevada there's no spousal support.
I hope she don't watch this. Oh man, yeah, yeah, right. But oh man, even that flight, that's the crazy thing. The flight with having open wounds, my leg was getting drained out.
Mhm.
Every time we took off, I was in pain. Right? Pressurizing the cabin, I'm in pain. Turbulence, I'm in pain. Right? Landing, I'm in pain. The only good part about this was I got a wheelchair because I left from as much as I hate to say it, I had to go to LaGuardia because that's the closest airport to me. I was not thrilled about going through the Bronx, but I was on the highway. So screw it. LaGuardia, flight, in pain the whole flight, but I had it. I was the first on the flight. I was the first off the flight. Good thing. Wheelchair from one terminal to the next terminal. Great. Got to marry the love of my life. Great. You know. Uh
So
I had
hold
my
on. Instead of talking about the pain, you just mentioned something that, again, especially with the content that I'm bringing, as a married black man and being in these spaces, this is something that a lot of men seek, right? So we seek to be married men. And there's a lot of different dynamics in terms of that. So you let me know what's going too far. I know you're an open book just like me. So you could care less what people think. But I still want to respect your privacy. So let me know
okay.
how far I go. But in terms of your own relationship, right? Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, for example, one of the things that I speak out against is the whole stepfather thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on some shit, it's kind of a little bit of being a hypocrite if I'm going to turn around and say, hey, let's mentor some young boys, but I'm not willing to
Mm-hmm.
be a stepfather, right? That's a little hypocritical in some people's book. In mine personally, it's not. I feel that I can be effective as, a mentor. But listen, you can also be effective in their space.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, let's talk about the relationship a little bit.
So you know what? It depends. I'm gonna say like that. It really depends on the person you're with, on how they bringing up their kids, and the relationship these kids have with their biological father.
Mm.
Right? Because you can step into a relationship and they'll take to you. You know, the kids will take to you, and they'll want that guidance, but then you'll have a situation to where you'll have a part timer father, right? He
Mhm.
gets the kids part time. He probably sees them once a year. So within that once a year, throughout the whole year, you got to deal with them. They come in and, well, this doesn't happen with me. Well, you're not there to see what happened 300, let's say, uh, 350 days out the year.
Mhm.
You feel me? For the week that you get them, or 2 weeks that you get them, that's all you getting them for,
Mhm.
right? Now, I can speak to this on myself. Like, the things that I wasn't taught by my father, I was taught by my best friend's father. You know, how to drive, how to fish, how to hunt, all the other things. I appreciate the fact that I had somebody that take me to this day. He called me.
Pause. I just got to drop this for Sheed. Ah. Whenever we say feelings in this space, we got to get emotional like Maxwell. So we drop the ah. Go ahead, brother.
Man, you special. But all right. Like I said, it's all a good fun. Um, like I said, I had somebody to take over the reins. Even the big homies, you feel me? Like, that wanted me to do other things than be in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like, you can rap. Why don't you do this?
Mm-hmm.
You can play ball. Why don't you do it? Like me growing up, I wrestled in I wrestled in middle school. High school, I wrestled and I got kicked out. Like I said, I wasn't the best kid. I wasn't the worst kid, but in between there, you know, things didn't work out for me. Right? Good wrestling, great wrestling. Something that I could have went to college, try to go to the Olympics for. That was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I had did it. I wish I had did the military. Like I was in ROTC. Like I loved it.
Yeah, I should have joined the Marines when I was
Like
17. I was going to join the Marines.
like and my hats off and respect to all them boys that and all them men that do it, you know, and all the women that do it too. Like let's not just keep this on. Like everybody who do it, you do it, you're doing something bigger than yourself.
I
My
ain't
hats off
running
to
out
you.
there fighting,
You
man.
know,
Yeah, so Luke, because I'm not running out there.
because you know, and it's not. I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean this in no disrespect, but it's the same like joining a gang. Right? People join a game because they think this is bigger than themselves, but it's a different. You fighting over a color
Mm-hmm.
or a block.
Mm-hmm.
When you know you fighting over a block when they fighting over over this country.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, really? You shoot this guy over a block, but you won't defend your country, right? Really? You know, as you get older, you start saying like, "I wish I had it done." And like I said, hindsight is 2020. If things happened in my life to where I couldn't do what I wanted to do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I had guides there, people that don't want to be stepfather. That's cool. That's your prerogative. You don't have to. Know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You you know what I mean? Yeah, there are kids out there for you to say if you want to be a mentor, cool, do that. Know what I mean? But in the long run, everybody needs somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a big brother, whether it's the father figure, you know, whether it's a big sister, you know, you need somebody because that's the problem now. Like you got kids looking to kids
Mm-hmm.
that don't know nothing. And it's not their fault because the ones that came before them didn't teach them nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my case, you know, I don't mind going into this. My grandfather didn't do nothing with my father.
Mm.
Period. You feel me? So chastise and beat him. My father didn't know how to. He tried to be the best father, but when you don't have somebody to actually do right by you, how can you do right by somebody else? So now me coming in behind that to see what he went through, like, okay, well, no, you know what? It's this cycle that we're gonna break. Like I'm with I'm with my son. Like, you know, like I'm gonna be there. We, you know, whether you playing basketball, football, baseball, whether you want to be in a glee club or you know do science fair projects, like you want to be there. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be, I'm gonna be there to push you. Hell, if you got a best friend or a friend that needs help, I'm gonna be there to push him too. You know what I mean? If my nephew needs me, I'm gonna be there. You know, if my friend needs me, I'm gonna be there. Cause why we all need somebody is it's not about giving a handout, it's about giving a hand up.
And,
You know, and that's the one thing I see a lot of us we don't do. We get stuff and we take it to the side. That crab in the barrel mentality. Take it and we run and we hoard it all for ourselves. Like
mm-hmm.
you can help. There's ways to help without it being in monetary value. You know, help grow their mind, help grow their heart, show compassion for one another. Not hating on somebody because somebody got this or hating somebody because they don't have it. You know, a person that can't afford Jordans and they wear Adidas, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Even matter of fact, no. Let's take a person that can't afford Jordans that wear them Shaq shoes. What's there $20, $25, $30?
Something
Like
like that. You made it affordable.
how you gonna hate? How you gonna hate on somebody that's getting what they can afford?
Here's the thing, and I want to speak to that real quick. Here's the funny thing about the Jordan versus Shaq shoes. You know, Shaq has made more money off of the sales of his shoes than Jordan has. Even though Shaq's shoes are only $25. Why? Because it's accessible to more people. See, a lot of people can't afford $300 and $500 pairs of sneakers. In the inner city, especially coastal New York, Miami, certain parts of California, maybe Philadelphia. Yeah, it's easy because you're Chicago. You're in big cities. So you're in major cities. That's why you have like major sports teams in these cities. So getting Jordan money is relative in these large cities, right? Even though it's not, because them same people who got Jordans got Obama phones.
Listen,
But
I dig that, but we kind of going off on a tangent. The whole thing is about stepfather, being a
I know.
stepdad
Hold
and a
on. Let me
mentor.
finish this.
You know what I mean? That was just a little,
That was just
that's
a
it.
tangent. Let
Yeah.
me finish this. So you're looking at, again, the Shaq shoe gives a level of affordability to the average person. So that's just something to consider. Now let's get back to this relationship thing though, because I want to talk to, firstly, the difference from just being a couple and a relationship to being a married couple. And people will always ask in your first few, months, or even in your first few years of marriage, well, what's married life like?
Man,
Now,
we still argue. We argued a week after we got back, like 2 days, like or not even 2 days. Like we argued before we went to bed. You're not supposed to argue. You're not supposed to go to bed angry. I know you're not supposed to do that. We are. Me and her got into it, and I'll give her this the first night. She's like, whatever, it's nothing. Then we argued the second night, right? And this time we kind of let it blow over to the next day, right? And then we still we clashing in the morning, right? Clash like it was one of those things where she was like, well, F you, and I'm like, well, F you too, guys. You know what I mean? Like, and I ain't gonna lie, I loved it because it's different. It's a different type of argument now because it's like, yeah, we can say this and we can do it, but at the end of the day, she came over. We about to go out. She came over, got the oil, rubbed me down out of nowhere. All right, put her chain on, kiss, and we out the door. Rings on, we married. It's cool. It's cool. Get back home. We it's me and my wife. It's me and my baby, and I love that aspect of it. Like like now we definitely not being a couple. You're afraid a regular couple, boyfriend and girlfriend. You know what I mean, it's arguments and all this. We're not afraid to actually say what we feel now. Like we really, all right, this is what it is, and blase blase. And you know, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. She can miss you wrong. I can admit I'm wrong, and you know, we move on. We move on and we move forward. You know, it's beautiful. It really is. It's a beautiful thing. Like like you go outside. I don't this this people say it's a what's that a lock or a chain, whatever.
ball and chain.
Yeah, ball and chain, whatever. Like, yo, listen, you can say all the want, but you know what? All this means is, you know what? She's mine and I'm hers. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's who I wake up to. That's who I go to sleep with. Regardless if we argue or not, that's who I'm gonna make breakfast for, and that's who's gonna make dinner for me. You know, I'm in pain. No matter if we argue or not, she's gonna rub my. You saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
I
no
saw it
matter,
today. What
like,
you talking about?
she you all right? You feeling all right? It hurt right here? Is she, her? I'm rubbing her back, scratching her back. We're handling the kids together. Like, so I got my son and I got my stepdaughter, right? And step kids can be hard. It really can. I'm not going to say it can be easy. It can be hard because you don't know where they coming from. You don't know, you don't know what's happening in their life like that. You don't know, is there a reason for certain kids to act out, or you don't know if it's because you're missing this one piece. You see a parent doing something with somebody else's kid, and they're not doing it with you, and then you have a little brother that you see like, oh well, I'm in your little brother's life, and he's got your mother and me. because that's us, and then you know now we're trying to expand, and now you probably feel like you're getting pushed out because it was just you. It's a whole lot of things you got to consider, like and you don't bash kids, right? You don't. That's the one thing you don't bash them, but yeah, you discipline them. You be stern with them, and you let them know, certain thing can't be allowed, regardless. From a kid, this is the one thing I tell anybody, even a kid that's not mine to a kid that's mine. Excuse me. It doesn't matter if you're a kid or adult. Anywhere you go, there's rules. That's
Straight
life.
like that.
That's life. So our thing is to get you to follow the rules of this house. When you go to school, you got to follow the rules in the school. You ride public transportation, you got to follow the rules of public transportation. If they tell you got to wear a mask, you got to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is the best one, is the best example. You from New York, you can cross the street wherever. And you look at the car like, all right, I want you to hit me. Right? In Vegas, you cross the street wherever you want. Woo woo.
Yeah.
Like you feel me? Different rules, different places, different rules. Can't jaywalk in Vegas. Hey.
Right. No, that's a fact.
And that is, and another thing too. Kids do want their parents together. Most step kids want their parents to be together, right? And I've never had both of my parents together, so I don't really see it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see it like that. Last time I was raised by my grandmother. I've never had my mother and my father together, so it doesn't mean my mother's always had her uh guys and whatever. My father always had his ladies, and you know, I've never had a mother father family. I've seen that. I experienced that through somebody else's in their family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is why I can do what I do with this, because I've seen it. I've seen the cohesive unit of, you know, they're in church on Sunday. They're mentoring the kids throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They argue like couples do. They argue, but it's the argument is never bigger than their relationship.
Mm.
You know, when you make an argument bigger than your relationship, then that's a problem.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Do me a favor, brother, because you do have a channel. I don't know if you're on YouTube right now. If you want to just drop it in the back chat, and I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. But make sure that you drop your page info so people know where to find you. Because he does have a channel. It's a little raunchier than mine, but I try
Nah,
to be
let's
as raunchy as possible
nah,
too.
let's get it right. See, so yeah, I do have a channel. It is you know Perfect Imperfections. The Chronicles, but you don't got to follow that. Something. One thing I would want people to follow, that I'm a startup that we started last year that we kind of fizzled out, was Roundtable with the Fellas.
This is true. We did do the roundtable with the fellas
You
discussions
know,
quite a
you
bit.
know, because like at this point in my life, you know, that's where I think that's where I need to aim. You know, that's my purpose, is to get have broad views of life. Like you was telling me something about people in their preference of not having a big girl or obese girl or a fat girl or whatever like that. All right, that's your preference, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody I'm not gonna say everybody want a Beyonce, because everybody don't want a Beyonce. Everybody don't want a J Lo. Some people like what's that? What's the old?
Chill
Uh,
stop.
I'm not gonna call her obese. What's the big girl name?
Lizzo.
Lizzo. Yeah. Some
Mhm.
people like that. That's their preference. You know what I mean? So be it.
Well, yeah.
I'm not gonna knock somebody for what they want. Like, for real, that's what you like. That's what you like. Anybody that has anything negative to say about that, then you can kick rocks. Nobody care about your opinions in the first place.
Big fact.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, you gotta, I don't want to say this guy's name, but he said it. But a lot of people be on this Kevin Samuel stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just take this little piece right here. I say you have a lot of low value, and I'm not putting it in the same. in the same format, in the same form that he says it and he uses it. This is me. You have a lot of low value people that want high value. You got low value men that want high value women. It don't work like that. It don't.
Let's break that down a little bit, because we do have a lot of that. Now, real quick, because a lot of people will say there's no such thing as a high value woman. And in terms of that, they're talking about the let me break this down, because I happen to watch Kevin Samuels. I'm not a one of his, kittens or anything, but I do watch him. You know why I watch him. He wears a suit and he's an asshole. Is that not me? Right? So he one of the things he spews, and this is in nobody, a lot of people in Black YouTube are just getting introduced to the tenements of a high value man. This is nothing that Kevin Samuels brought out, but we got to realize that he is coming from a Eurocentric viewpoint. So when he talks about things like a high value man, really with men, when he's Black men, when he's talking about is competing against other men. There was a situation where there was some female content creator asked the Caucasian man, do Black men seem of any threat to you? And he laughed. He said, basically saying financially and mentally, they're not a threat. And physically, which we know is obviously not true. We're obviously a threat physically. Look at all the basketball players and football players. And, that's why we don't play hockey, because you can fight in hockey. And if they just let a bunch of Black men run around with no reason to fight, we'd be running around. I wish a motherfucker would. So we know physically we can dominate, but mentally and definitely economically and financially, we're not. Therefore, that's why we have a lot of women who are complaining they're unprotected, because we've got men who will do things like open a trucking industry, like our cousin up in Long Island, or instead of him doing it alone, link up with 1,000 other men in this space who are also trucking, and instead of doing it independently and being like, I'm better than this, then 2017, 31,000 Sikh men entered the trucking industry. So of 31,000 men, and we know about 10 dudes in the hood who got a truck, who about to get smashed, because of these 31,000, if just 5,000 of them come together and become a fleet, that means that can be 3 men per one truck. That means your job is done 3 times faster. That means that they can undercut you. That means that homie up in Long Island, that booming system you got in that new Dodge Durango, gone. Because these Sikh men just took out your business. So see, little stuff like that is where there's a fail point on the men. But go ahead.
I hear you. But
and yes, Terenzo, we did create hockey.
See, I've been in that field for so long. Like when I listen to you talk about trucking, like that's been my goal since a kid, right? The trucking industry will never die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that will always go on and on, because you need these vehicles on the road to move product.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you can have a 5 different companies come together. There's still it's more work than any of them can handle. Is stuff in the U.S. move 2 ways the quickest: by train, by truck. I'll never have. If I start a company today, I don't have to worry about the next man. Mm-hmm. Maybe you got to worry about them, undercutting price of the freight to move it. Other than that, there's work. That's always going to be work. Now, if we come together on something, I understand that sometimes you can't. You just can't. And I say this from working with a lot of Jewish people and Italian people and how they do it. I like the way I'm not going to say this company name, but one company will have it under one name. They'll have their business under one name, have the same business under another name, and be paying the other business out of this business pocket. Mm-hmm. So the flow is always whatever the money come into this one is going to that one and going right back. So it's like that infinity loop. Mm-hmm. And now if we was to try something like that, I think yes, we will get ahead. We'll get further than what we are. But in 2021, we have more Black millionaires than we ever had.
Yeah, that's true, but that's for the simple fact that we've got larger population.
Still, we need to ask them to open, not the small mom and pops like our cousin, because he's not up there.
Right.
But if you ask the bigger ones to come down and filter down resources to these mom and pops to help them get, then yeah, then you can use that. Like I said, it's not a handout, it's a hand up.
Right.
Now, if we do it under what they call an umbrella, all right, like you have your channel Springer, you got me on the show. I'm telling people about my channel. Then on my channel, I'm telling people about the next man's. And we get these people and we're all connected and we're helping. We're not bashing. Like, it's one thing to have an opinion. It's another thing to bash. You know,
Exactly.
I hate to say, but you hear the Kwame Brown thing, right? You call this man a bust for 20 years. You bashed this man.
For 20 years.
Your opinion turned to bashing. 20 years later, now he's coming at you. And he's getting money off of you bashing him now.
Yeah.
And you know, and no, it's sad. It's really sad. That's what these channels, I see a lot of these channels do. They bash other channels. You know, they talk bad about they want to put people, all right, well, Black men, we should do this, but in order to, and they're thinking they're helping you out, but they bashing you. Like, I don't never see how you can lift somebody up by bashing. By talking down on people. Like, you understand? Nothing ever came from talking down on somebody, especially your own.
It's so true, brother.
Like,
but listen, we've been running for an hour and 15, and I know you got. I heard a nephew in the back. And you still owe us telling us that that's what we're gonna do. Where we gonna take y'all? Because we got to go out and celebrate for your wedding.
I don't know. I told you Foxwoods, man. Foxwood all day.
Well, yeah, you want to do like the Michael Jordan Steakhouse?
We can do Sugar, man.
Sugar is nice, but I mean, didn't y'all just go there? I guess you like it, so you want to go back.
We went last year, right?
Before the rings. That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
And but you know what? It don't even matter. Like I said, as long as you in good company, because even after Sugar, didn't we come and get you?
Yes, and we went to what, Chili's or something?
We went to Chili's, and I still got the pictures from that, right? The drinks and whatnot, like, you know, and that's what we need to do. That's what I want to do. That's what my brother was saying. Fellas, instead of bashing, we need to come together and do things together.
You still got to talk to me about the fellas trip that he was talking about, because we're supposed to be having a fellas trip.
Supposed to go to Atlantic City, or he want to go to Atlantic City in August. You know, like something just for us, and we have to do a program, me and you, and maybe a couple other that's in this. I say exclusive club.
Club.
You know, and do things like that, because my wife want to do things with other couples, other married couples. Let me put that out there like that. You know,
so does my wife. You know, and actually, so I'll get you with my other brother, and we started, actually, he and I started the Husbands Unite Club. So I can't remember what happened, but something happened, and you know, I went to bat for him over his wife, and he was like, "Oh, Husbands Unite." I was like, "Look, bro." Oh, I know what happened. A friend of ours had gotten into some trouble with some individuals. And those individuals reached out on Facebook and started chatting my homeboy's wife. I told my homeboy, I said, "Yo, you like my brother?" So what do we want to do? Because first of all, we're about to go get our friend and let him know whatever you got into, you don't need to be having that. If they come to me, no problem. I don't have no problem with that. I got your back. But now they're going to my family, my wife and kids. So first of all, I'm going to let you know I will kill you if anything, you bring anything to my wife and kids. Straight like that. We're homeboys, but I will kill you. Secondly, now that we know that we got these other individuals and they're reaching out to my wife, okay, now that we know that you're into whatever, I'm not gonna harm you at the moment. We're gonna go handle this situation. Basically, he had some a situation with some ADR dudes out here that were from, ironically enough, the Bronx. And but we cleaned that situation up, and that's how we started Husbands Unite, because we was like, look, our single friends don't seem to understand. Yeah, when we was hanging out, you can involve me, but now it's not me, it's my family. So if you put my family into something, I don't care about them dudes you're beefing with. You got a problem with me.
Before we cut out, that also goes to to being married with stepkids too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and let me put this out, and I hope the baby daddies and the baby mamas understand this. When your baby mother or baby father gets married to somebody else, you understand, they are their responsibility. So you can, that talking wild and reckless, it cuts out, because you know you no longer have that. Yeah, the only attachment you have is y'all have a kid together. Other than that, she or he is not your responsibility. And stepping over that line will get you violated. That's the thing that I think people don't understand. Like, it's no longer a boyfriend girlfriend thing. It's, this is my husband, this is my wife. We took an oath, you know, and either respect that, either peacefully respect that, or be prepared for what comes with not respect. And that's all I got to say on that one. Like, I'm not a tough guy. I'm a family guy that loves his family. That's it.
Straight like that. So, Matt, before, I guess that's your closing statement, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close this out here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, share. If you'd like to support the channel growth, my information is scrolling across. It's also in the description box. If you're looking for a financial consult like one that myself and Chronicle had, you can find my information in the description box. And as always, make sure, remember, wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And lastly, remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. So I want you to accept the challenge. Again, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Chronicle, do you have your link to your channel, or you want me to drop it later?
So here's something real simple. Just follow me at Chronicle Mac. You at IG, Perfect and Professional Studio on YouTube. You know, that's it. I mean, thank y'all for listening to me. I appreciate it.
No doubt, brother. Bow.
You already know.
There we go, brother. All right, and to everyone, salute.
Classic. Always. People wanna find a better way. I wanna say that you got it. dig inside of your pocket, and take out your wallet. They got all of your power. I'm talking black dollars, mixed with a little knowledge. Yeah, we got cause problems. Sit back at the bells I live, and I don't believe. Put that money right back into the community, so I'm trying to get you a better vision. You guys all dropping it on this out there. I'm talking all these, you know the country. Pull up in my pocket.
I used to do that for the days. Can't trust no one, no. Pulling up so low, that's the way we're riding. You know, you never vote down on the line, so me and go, just in the beat, go. Let me know that see nothing to go. Trying to do it different than before. You can get a richer vision, maybe old. Trying to get it yet this over. Niggas on some nation, trapping like you crazy, chasing dollars all night. Niggas pushing donations and no not really scratching to the head. Hey, you I'm on the line, doing it for you. Let a motherfucker tell you that you don't. You got it. 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 You let a motherfucker tell you that you don't. You're not bragging on that. I'm letting you feel this day. Happy to mean I'm happy. Happy, but I mean I was happy. I was thinking. I'm used to scrapping. I wanted no extra. I needed no money. Church said that I wouldn't be nothing. But I showed you something from all wrong. Gotta rock my like a dog stone. Living my dreams. Take trips overseas where they all wrong. My shit turned up that shit. They all wrong. I said, I got it out. This fucking niggas on some shit.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And as always, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.